All right, I am here. It is Sunday, the 1st of September. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm going to wait here for a few minutes so people know I'm on. Uh, that's the excitement. I guess I can go back and delete stuff, but if you're rewatching this, forward through till I seem like I'm talking to people. Let's see what's new. I had COVID, which I'll probably have to repeat that I had it. Getting over it. Hello, whoever's here. Thank you for the like. um, sorry I'm late. My computer, we'd gone on vacation and I came back and I ended up having COVID, and I basically have been rotting in my bed for the last few days. So my computer had to charge. I didn't realize. Hi, Jeep. Hi, Ashley. I got your payment, Ashley. If Amy Fleming is here, I have your payment from last week, since I didn't go live. Hi, Drishti. I did get your email. I'm sorry. I've been really sick. I had COVID, and my brain is still a little foggy, but I can do some readings today. It's like, I swear, this is literally the fourth time I've had it. It's freaking ridiculous. Not as bad as I've had it in the past. And I think that's like because I've been really working on like building up my vitamin D. I'm okay now. I'm a little tired, so I ended up taking a shower to see if I'd feel a little bit more alive. I haven't done a lot. And this morning, like I was supposed to take my daughter on Wednesday to get her vaccines for before school starts because she's going to be in 6th grade, and they require a couple new vaccines. And I had to cancel it, so I took her this morning, and then we ran to Target super quick and Staples. Like, I mean, literally got 2 things at Target, and then went to Staples to look at. She needs wanted a new backpack, and like I was like beat. I was like, I gotta go lay down for a while. Hi, Claudina. Okay, so let me go look at my list and see who needs what. So I took a nap and I thought that should be good, and then I woke up and that's why my hair's so wet. So I was like, well, maybe I really want to like shower. Okay, so like I had to push a couple clients off until next week. Okay, so I've got Amy. I'm sorry, I might be a little flaky. My head's still a little wonky, but that doesn't stop me from being able to do readings, by the way. Because really, to be able to do a reading, you just need to get out of your left brain and your logical brain anyway. And so not being logical helps right now. Jeffrey, I've got you. I don't know if Amy is going to be here, so we can just move along until we see. Excuse me. I swear I wasn't really coughing earlier. And I got Linda. So, Drishti, I don't know what to do about you, where to have you pay for a reading, because I really only have Venmo and PayPal. Venmo and PayPal are like the same thing. I have thought about setting up like a different payment system when I have my new website rollout. That's another option. And I think it's Squarespace or something is what they use. But I actually need to go and change my bank account and move my business bank account to a different one. You do have PayPal now. Well, then that's where you pay. Okay, so I'm sorry that it's not like more. I know that other people around the world need something a little bit more. You're not the only person who's ever asked. It's also like, it was sort of like for tax purposes and everything else. I was just trying to keep everything as easy as possible for me for doing everything. My PayPal works. There's my PayPal. I'll link this. Sorry, what do you call it? Pin it. So there's the link for the PayPal. It should be pinned to the top of the chat. Let me fix the chat too, because this happens where I somehow lose people, and it's really because I have it set it as top chat instead of live chat. I don't understand why I would want to see top chat and not just live chat. It sucks, but I have to tell you, because Ashley said she's had it 3 times. What's crazy is I don't know where I got it. obviously. I don't know. I didn't know anybody with it, but it's like really, the counts are really high right now. So we're on vacation, and my husband had a bedroom because he snores really loud. And I can't stand that. And my oldest daughter, she has her own bedroom. She's autistic, so she just needs a little bit of her own space, which is fine, like her own space to kind of go and decompress after. Like it was like a lot of activity for her, like at the boardwalk. It's loud, it's noisy, there's lots of people. And so she has like had her own room. So I shared a room with my two youngest daughters, which is fine. I don't care. We all had our own bed. They didn't get it. Like nobody got it. And I drove home, and we took two cars, because that way, like if my oldest daughter wanted to stay back behind and not do something just to have some downtime, my other two could go out, or, with one parent could go out, whatever. Like, but then nobody's really stranded at the place without a car. So we took two cars down. The girls all rode with me, and nobody got sick but me. So that's like, I swear I was like manifesting them. I'm like, it's so amazing. Like, it's so crazy. What a miracle. Like nobody got sick but me. Because I was just like, I don't, I mean, it's not like I want to be sick, but I also like, it's really hard to have to take care of other people when you are sick. So, all right, let me stop rambling and yammering and get to business. I don't know why I feel like I want something to write with, but give me a second. I'm just gonna go look. Okay, something to write with. Oh, I mean, you know what else I think it is so I think sometimes, like, in weird ways we manifest things like without realizing it. And like my kids were so good this week because my husband still worked and did everything. So like he was at work all day, Wednesday, Thursday, and half a day Friday. My kids were so good. Like, yeah, I got up and fed them stuff. They're a little bit older, but they didn't fight. They didn't like nothing. They were so good. And I kept saying, like, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative, because it allowed me to just, be an absent mother, but like let them, like it's not like they didn't get care. Just, I felt bad though too, because it's like their last week of summer, and we couldn't really do anything because I was sick. Okay, Jeep donated. I will check. All right. I will be checking. I might have to get up at a point and if I have to let my one daughter in because she's at a friend's house and they're gonna okay, sorry. Anyways, somebody's gonna drop her off for me. I don't have your payment yet, Jeep, but sometimes there's a little delay. Okay. So I should have brought cough drops down. Hi, Linda, by the way. All right, Devry, if you're here, you want to let me know what your question is. Otherwise, Ashley or Linda, Joelle, I see your payment. Hadley, I forget. Wait, is that Jeep? Is that your new screen name? Yes. Oh, okay. I see. You paid. I just am not used to that being your screen name. Sorry. So I have yours and I have Joelle's and Claudina's. Your two questions are on PayPal. Okay, give me a minute. Here I'm making a liar out of myself. I was like, I can do this. No problem. I'm not coughing. Oh, okay. All right, let me find your email. Okay. I'm not reading it aloud. Okay. Oh, thank you for the validation, by the way. So I'm just going to read the validation. Is that okay that I read that? I'm pretty sure that that's okay. I won't read about them personally. Sorry, it took me a minute to read. It's just, I just want to, again, foggy brain. So the validation was I had told her that she would see a woman about her visa and the woman would put an alert out about it because it was like the fourth attempt or whatever. And that's exactly what happened. So just validation there. Okay. So as far as, can I just say mystery man so I can like, just kind of like at least chat through this. Um, I'm going to call him the mystery man, even though he's not a mystery. I keep my like in my head. I'm like Barcelona. Um, sorry. Okay, so mystery man. Um, okay, I'm gonna say this. The feeling I get is that like he's not. And I just lower this. I don't know why it's like always like super bright. Okay, so I don't. Let me say this. He is not going to be totally what he's portrayed himself to be. Um, sorry about the annoying clearing throat. Meaning, it's not like a bad thing, but I just feel like maybe he's shorter than he said he is. But I also feel like there's something about him that's like very sweet and endearing, and you like you'll be able to look past it, but when you first see it, it's going to bother you. Like, why wasn't he more honest about it? But I feel like he's a really good person. Um, Maybe a little bit socially awkward, but like very enthusiastic is the feeling I get, and like really wants to show you around and have a nice time. What's interesting is like, I don't feel like there's an expectation. Like, it really does feel like wanting to get to know you better. um, I also feel like it's like you'll be staying separately. So I don't feel like he's trying to be tricky and like share a hotel room with you or anything like that. Like I really feel like he's going to be respectful about that. But I do feel like it's going to be like, oh, like you didn't say you're like you said you were short, but you didn't say you were like really short. Like there's something where it may not be the height thing. It might be something else where he portrayed himself one way and then it's like, okay. But I really feel like his personality and kindness really makes up for it. And I don't feel like it's like love bombing weirdness. I just feel like it's a genuine kindness. Hi, Amy. Oh, no, don't apologize. I have you on here from last week because you paid, but I wasn't on because we were on vacation. Um, so I feel like he's going to be a great tour guide. He's very excited to show you around. Though I don't feel like he lives in Barcelona. I feel like he lives maybe just outside. Does he have a connection to Alicante? Hi, Sachin. Does he have a connection to Alicante, Spain? I just heard that. That's a place where I did like exchange student when I was in high school there. And I for some reason I heard that. So um oh, thank you, Paul. Um so I just feel like I don't want to say don't be nervous because I think that's normal and I think it's okay to like kind of be because that's like I mean, I think it's brave to do that. I understood that you said Disney World. I'm just finishing. I'm in the middle of a reading. Um, so I think it's kind of brave. I don't feel like being afraid of like, like now if somebody from Dubai was like, "Hey, we want to invite you over and pay you money," I'd be like, mm. But I feel like he's genuinely like a decent person. um, Sachin, I'll kind of talk about that later. I'm going to do these are all private readings now, so where people are asking personal questions first that they've paid for. Um, I don't feel like there's anything to be concerned about. Like I don't feel it big. Like I feel like he seems other than this like one thing that's like why would he not be honest about it? I think that's more about his own insecurity than about being like a big fat liar and somebody you need to be like on guard with. Um, and I also feel like his pace of relationship is going to be better than some of the other ones you've been in. Like I don't feel like he's trying to like automatically be like, oh, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, like we're in a deep committed relationship. Whereas I think some of the other relationships you've been in, and from what I've heard of like that it's more culturally like where you're very quickly committed to each other in the country you're in. Oh, he is trying to rush. I don't feel like it's going to happen that way. So here's the thing. I think what? Oh no. I don't think that's really going to be where it goes. I feel like when you meet him it slows it down a little bit. He's a lot older. Um, I think some of these experiences when you go through them in dating, like I know people want to be, I know you specifically want to be married and be connected to someone, but I will tell you, having been where you're at and where I'm at now, and just like hindsight is 2020 type thing. I think like looking back, really the dating experiences were should have been so much more about me really learning about myself and my own boundaries and what it was that I really wanted and needed. And like, um, instead of hoping that somebody would see my own value, really like that was where like all the self concept work should have come in a long time ago, was like, you know, seeing my own value and worth. And then is this person going to like fit with that? And not to be like, oh, I'm on a pedestal, but meaning like not always having to show up where you're like hoping that someone sees what a good person you are, but where you just know that they do, and you value each other, right? And so if you have children with somebody, you're yoked to them forever. Um, so it's like really good to know who you are and like be okay with that before you I guess so that way when and if you do meet somebody, and which you will, but I'm just saying like in general. So just look at this as like, instead of like, is he the one? Is this all of that? And I would look at it like, what do I need to learn from this? What boundaries, where are my boundaries at before you even go down there? And not even like I'm trying to slow them down, just be like, hey, this is where I am at. This is my timeline. And I understand that you're older and this is where you want, but I'm not in a huge rush. I'd like to get to know each other better. And I think that that's a fair assessment, especially given that you live in different countries. And what's a lot older? I'm not trying to judge, like, at all. 14's a lot. I'm sorry, I'm not coughing. That was just coincidental. Yeah, so like I think it's totally okay to be like, these are my boundaries. Like, really get to know what your boundaries are and understand that it's not about trying to make somebody do something that you want them to do, but it's like, what am I comfortable with and what am I not comfortable with? And if he's really pushing for a quick and fast relationship and you're like, that's a red flag. And he's not respectful of your like being like let's like take our time to get to know each other. There's no rush. And he's still pushing and pushing. That's a red flag. But I feel like when you meet him, it'll just be like he'll just be enthusiastic about being there. I don't feel like there's a push for anything. Not this visit. And I just asked, like, will it end on a good note? I feel like I'm gonna have to say this. I feel like there might be a tiff on the weekend when you're there. I don't really fully understand what that is, but I do feel like it ends on a good note. He's not pushing. He's not. Okay. Okay. Well, that's okay then. But I think when you're in relationships and you're like sort of whatever, like learn to set your boundaries and also learn to like, I feel like it's okay to be like, of course he would want me. I think there might be a little tiff that comes up. Um, but not huge. It just feels small, but ending on a good note. Like, so it might be a small disagreement. But I want to say this though. It's okay to have disagreements with people when you're in relationships, even in the beginning. Number one, like, because if you're always going with the flow and always doing what that other person wants, because you're kind of like, oh, whatever, like, I just want to spend time with people that I like. I don't really care what I'm doing. But you're never really exerting your own personal wants, needs, and desires because maybe you're kind of a low maintenance person or whatever, and you never have a fight with that person and you never see what their style is in the way they disagree. That's not beneficial. Like, if you're going to be in a long-term relationship, you're going to have disagreements, and it's better to learn early, like, how do they fight, like, what's their style. It'll tell you a lot about a person. Are they willing to come into like an agreement? Are they willing to listen? Are they willing to, what is their style? So I don't think it's like a huge issue. It just feels like, and you can't, here's the thing. I want, like, I keep feeling like, don't try to change him or like see his potential. It's really just like, see him for who he is. People will tell you who they are, especially when they're a little bit older. They tell on themselves. And can you live with that for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Are you cool with that? If it's absolutely like, I can't fucking live with this past like 2 days, that is a deal breaker kind of thing. And if it's something where it bothers you and you're like, you bring it up and they are unable to like, like where it's like, hey, if you're upset about something, I need you to talk to me about it. And they're like, they just keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's a sign. I don't know, Drishti. Um, I don't know why it's not sending it. Did you use the link above? It's getting declined. I have no idea why. That might be something on your end, not my end. So it just feels more like, and I'm not trying to lecture you by any means. It just feels more like maybe it's like my own experiences where it's like learn the fighting style, learn to like not be a, a pick me girl. And I'm not saying that you are, but when we're always worried about how somebody receives us instead of like, well, how do I receive them? Um, it's okay to push back a bit. Yeah, sorry, I did, but I was processing my brain. Hold on. Um, okay, so going forward, it's funny. I heard going forward, and then I heard yes, there's a potential future. um, but they're sort of saying like again, it really depends on you. I see a lot of like after this trip, really taking time to think about it, and reflect on it. And again, I don't feel like it's a bad trip. Sorry, but I feel like needing time to reflect, maybe about like really thinking about what it is you want and need, and can he fit that for you? Um, I heard his family is lovely. Um, I feel like they're really warm and welcoming. I keep getting shown his grandpa, and I feel like he's kind of like funny in a quirky way. So is his grandfather? There's like a grandfather figure I feel like you'll see, and he feels funny in a quirky way. I mean, I really like the Spaniards. Like I really like the culture, and I don't feel like it's they're. I keep getting like an older man, so and he just feels kind of like funny, but in a quirky way, like not outwardly funny, just like some of his mannerisms and things he does. Um, I loved Spain. I loved the people. I love the culture. Like I met so many wonderful people there. Um, and I feel like they'll be welcoming and warm. Like I feel like they're not going to be snarky or cold or anything like that. Well, then his family is going to be warm and welcoming. It still feels that way. It doesn't feel snarky or cold. But you must feel like you'll be fine. Okay. All right. I got to move on. Devry, are you here? Amy, you're here. You want to ask your question? When are you going? Okay, Amy said, will the staff of my healthcare team cooperate more after the director over all of the services in my area emailed the consultant a letter she sent to me? On the 13th. Okay. Let me just read that again. Will the staff of my healthcare team my area cooperate more with you, cooperate more with the consultant? I want to be clear, who are they cooperating with? So I'm just going to say this because I heard yes, but there's like one individual, a gentleman. Um, oh, but there's one gentleman who feels like he's going to be more. It's not that he's not cooperating, but he's going to be the person who's like grumbling about it or complaining, but like kind of in a snarky way, but not to you, but it's not like it's not obvious that he's doing it. I heard they have no choice. Oh, you'll get a new consultant. Oh, that would be him? Okay. So he'll complain about it but he has no choice in the matter. So is he really like kind of thin, like a thin, slimmer build? Because that's what I'm seeing. I see a slimmer build and dark brown, short hair. Okay. So that's him. Okay. You'll be okay. Devry, are you here? If not, Linda, do you want to ask your question? You can't get a new consultant? I actually think you will get a new one. It might take a little bit more time, but I think the way things pan out that he'll end up not being your consultant. It might be a couple months. I think there will be one. So maybe not now, but there will be one. That's what I'm getting. My uncle one time was applying for a job, I think with Homeland Security or something, or he worked, I don't know, whatever he works with. I think he still does. I don't know, Homeland Security at Chicago O'Hare Airport. And my aunt was like, asked me on a job. I was like, he's not getting that one. They're going to like have to create a job that he'll get. I'm like, I always love when like when you tell family members things and they're just like, they'll tell you straight to your face. They don't believe in what you're doing. They don't want to hear about what you're doing. And then you like tell them stuff. And it's like, I'm right about a lot of stuff. But they never go and validate because you get other stuff about them and they don't want you to know that you're right about that stuff too. No, the staff don't hate you. I think it's more just not wanting to do more work than they have to. And so it's sort of like, I mean, I watched it when I was a nurse. I watched so many people, like I'm such a rule follower and I'm like, well, I'm here to work, so I got to work. Like it's very much my mentality. And I always thought people just like sat around a little bit more than I would have or talked on the phone more than I would have. And I again, it's like if I think I have to go and give 100%, what I realized is This is probably my neurodivergence. Most people aren't giving 100% and they're still doing just fine. But I am like, put me in, I'm a robot. I will do. And like, I literally had nurses be like, you're a workhorse. Like they put me in jobs and had me do stuff because they knew I would get a lot more work done than like the rest of them. But in fact, when I left this one contract, I left it, I was 34 weeks pregnant. And she called me back and was like, can you come back and work for 3 more weeks? And I was like, no, no. uh, Mostly because there was a manager and she was a giant pain in the ass. She sucked. So, Wayhan, you need a nurse, Bernie? Does who want to help now? So my feeling is like, wants to help. It's not about wanting. It's more just like, oh, I have to do this. Like, I don't have a choice. It's a feeling of somebody who normally can get away with like pushback and like then getting what they want and finding out that like that's not the way it's going to happen. So it'll be fine. This is somebody who, once they're in and doing whatever the new protocol is, plan, whatever you're doing, like a month in, they're fine. It's just, they just don't transition well. It's like when I first went into nursing, like a lot of hospitals and departments were just transferring over to like all computer charting. And even just like, it's like little by little, it was never just like, I don't know how old you are. Like we had some paper, like we had some of the chart was on paper still, but most of it was like, or some of it was moving over. And there's people who just would grumble and grumble and grumble about it. And, once they were doing it for a little while, they were fine. It's just that transition period. So I think if you like look at people like that, instead of like, oh, they're a pain in the ass or they don't want to work, and it's more of like, oh, maybe they have an issue with transitioning to new things. It's harder on them. I think that a better way to look at, I guess, that when I was a nurse, I don't know, for me, I just found that I was there for a job and I wasn't really there to make friends. I was there because I wanted to do a job and take care of people and use my knowledge to do that. And I have friends that I work with that were, some were nurses, some were respiratory therapists that I still keep in contact with. It's not a ton of them. And it's not because I didn't work with good people. I kind of felt like I don't want to be best friends with people, because if I feel like I need to draw a line and set a boundary, I don't want to feel like I can't do that because they're a friend. Right. So there was points where I was having to charge over when I was a travel nurse and be in charge. And you can't always be best buddies with somebody, because they will try to, I hate to say this, but I feel like people, especially when they're friends, will try and take advantage of you if you work with them. And so I guess don't be disappointed that because you don't, it's like you might get along well, but that doesn't mean you know them that well. And some people aren't fully capable of showing up on an emotional level and being supportive. And maybe it's not that she didn't mind. My feeling is more that she didn't really know how to process it or deal with it, and has a lot on her plate. So, and maybe that's my own trauma, that I'm like, I learned not to expect a lot from a lot of people. Processing a lot. I just learned to be like, it's not really necessarily about me. I also think working in healthcare is exhausting. Um, I think that they don't emotionally support healthcare staff enough for the things that they see and go through. I also think that it's become, I just found out my daughter's pediatrician is leaving the practice she's with, because it's like a giant equity type thing, where they want to pump out money. and they're not leaving room for actual caring of not only the patients that they take care of, but their staff. Everybody's just a number. And some of that's not really about you. And it's just the system that's been set up. I'm telling you, the healthcare system's crumbling, and it's not to be like, oh my, it's gonna like we're not gonna have any hospitals or anything, but it's going to be built back up very differently by 2028. 2026. You're going to start to see changes. 2028, it's going to start shifting more where they're no longer going to kind of like allow everything to be for profit in the United States. They're going to start moving into a one payer system. And, in medicine 20 years ago, they were scaring us that like, oh, that's the worst thing in the world. But like, honestly, healthcare should not be for profit. It's insane what they've done to it. They have people who don't know anything about medicine running it as a business instead of what it is. It's to care for people. I mean, there's going to be a lot of big changes coming in there's going to be changes around regulations. By 2032, I feel like there's going to be big changes in the food industry because the way things are running now, they're just, they're keeping people sick to make money. Hi, Allie. I also think there's going to be big changes because they're understanding how much so many of our disease and illness is from, inflammatory process of it's not only like, like that fat and obesity is not like an inability to control your, urges, but it's really, there's some missing links. That's what the GLP-1s are really starting to show people. Not only for like, it's helping with addictive things, like when people have addictions, they're no longer wanting their addictive alcohol or whatever, alcohol, cigarettes, whatever. It's showing great improvements with cardiovascular people with CHF. So you're going to start to see that they're going to start also understanding how much the food industry plays into this by stripping out fiber and by when they add back in nutrients, they're adding synthetic nutrients into it instead of using ones that are easier, more bioavailable. It's really interesting, but things are going to start changing. It's just like 2032 feels big. It's like 2026, 2028, and 2032. There's going to be changes and jumps and things. Just like I said back in like 2016, 2020, I guess it was like 2018, 2020. It's like things get worse before they get better, unfortunately. Like think about how many people go into hospitals and get sick and they don't go in until they're really, really, really sick, right? And that's kind of how when things have to happen, or like people don't, a lot of people don't start making dietary and lifestyle changes until it's like absolutely desperate for them to do it. And, I'm guilty of that. Like other people are too. It just is what it is. It's just, I think it's human nature. That's okay. Okay, Miss Linda, I'm sorry, honey. I didn't mean to ignore you. My mom passed 1 year ago today. I'm very sorry. It was a hard anniversary. Tell me your mama's name again. I'm going to do my best, but with my foggy head, I'm going to do my best. That's all I'm going to say. Come here. Okay. Give me a minute. Are you just now working on like, I feel like this would be the kitchen. Was her like kitchen and living room one room? is that, oh, I, it feels like the way I would have like walked up. I would have walked up upstairs, and when I walked in, I would have walked in, and there would have been like, um, I don't know if this is the sink to the right of me, and but there's windows in front of me, like a couple windows in front of me, and I think one on the right as well. Does this make sense? I'm getting over COVID. This is like day 10. I wish I was one of those people that's like, I just fell down for like 2 days and that was great. I heard someone say, like, it was Ryan Reynolds doing like an interview, and he said he got exposed to COVID. He was positive for COVID. He's like, I just got time by myself for 5 days. I'm like, I mean, I got time by myself, but I was like febrile all day Wednesday. The kitchen has a window to the right from the sink. Okay. But when you like, I feel like there's a door behind me. I can't see it. It's just I'm looking in and I can see like, would the house you live in have been built like early 1900s? So I feel like it feels kind of clear in this room, except for there's a whole bunch of stuff in the corner still. Okay. All right. I'll take that. It's like a long time ago. I'll take that. So I don't know if this room would have been traditionally like, it feels like it would have been made the kitchen or made something later. I don't know if it was always this room, but I feel like there's like, so I feel like it's kind of clear, but in the corner, like as I'm standing and facing the way I am to the far right corner, it feels like there's still a lot of clutter and stuff. Yes. Okay. It feels like it's by the window. So she says, because I see her kind of like, first of all, when I saw her first pop in, she was like laying under the, like, kind of like under the garbage. Like it's just like piled. And she's like, oh, like she's being dramatic. I was like, seriously. And she was like kind of laughing. Like it was this feeling of like kind of joking around and being dramatic. But she's like, she's got kind of a funny accent to me. I know she wasn't Southern, but she's making it sound like it's this heavy accent. And she kind of just said, like, tell her to get rid of the shit. So I heard this interesting way of decluttering, like to help your kids declutter, especially if like you're ADHD, because you have like a hard time getting rid of stuff. And it's sort of this idea of like someone said, if it had poop on it, would you wash it off and keep it, or would you just throw it away? And she's sort of saying like, tell her to treat all of that stuff like that, like to stop making it hard. Like to stop, just literally just put it in bags and stop worrying about it. Is her feeling of like, just it's okay, just throw it away. You're not going to accidentally miss some family heirloom in there. And it's also this feeling of like, I feel like there's a feeling of like not wanting to be wasteful. And she's like, just throw it away. And I think that's a lot about your own, helping you with your own mindset around it and your own mental health and well-being, is like, just toss it, just throw it away. It's okay. So she's not actually buried under the trash. I want to say that she was just being silly. I think to try and make light of it. Do you have like around the windows, does it have that really big wood, like, I forget what you call it. It's not siding, but you know what I'm talking about. Someone wants to help me, that's fine. The wood that goes around a window. There's an actual name for it, but it feels like the old, like really thick, like maybe 6 to 8 inches wide. Like it's the window frames. Thank you so much. I feel like I have like the nice woodwork window frames around it. She said, she goes, I want you to forget about all of that stuff. I'm not in the stuff. She said, you're making yourself sick over this. Um, I feel like you're having GI issues from this, like having a lot of like stomach upset from this. Where does the $12,000 come into play? And she said, you need help. You need help. And not like mental help, but like physical help with this. Like it's time to get the help. Um, I do feel like there's a lot of emotional, like kind of hindering you, like the emotional connection to like what all is like. It's like there's a lot of shame around it. Um, there should be 12,000 left for my brother and me. Okay. So I feel like my feeling is you'll have help for money, but she's saying you need to get the help. And also, like, if you can do your best to not feel shame around this, because that's holding you very paralyzed in and being able to move through this. She says, I wasn't really good at a lot of this. So I feel like that's kind of life and in many ways parenting, like being emotionally available. Um, and I think that uh, she's sort of owning that and saying she did you a big disservice. She's apologizing for it, saying she's very sorry. She said, I wasn't as helpful as I wanted to be. She's making me feel like, so this is interesting. She said, you really did make me feel loved and comforted. And it was something that she'd never really felt before. Like it felt like she got mothered by you, especially in the end. And it was something she never really had. She didn't get like a mommy mom. Um, so here's what I'm going to say. Hoarding isn't about being disgusting or gross. Hoarding is about an emotional inability to process trauma. And um, there's a lot of self shame in it too. So when you hold shame around it for her, it locks that energy in, right? And it makes you not be able to move past it. She wasn't a bad person because she hoarded. Um, People are very judgy, but there are people that, especially people who do clean up for that, it's just another job. They're not holding judgment on it. She's like saying, she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. Oh, that's interesting. She says, you're being so protective of me, and I wasn't very protective of you. So as you're moving through it, the feeling I get from her is stop worrying about what you're seeing and being emotionally connected to it. Just say, she gave me permission to just move, like to just dump. and just get rid of it, And so the plan could be like, every day I'm just going to go and fill 2 garbage bags full and throw it away. And then like if you decide you want to do more, then do more. But it's like every day just go fill 2 garbage bags full. Maybe start with 1. Just fill 1 garbage bag. And don't sit there and go through and decide, should I keep it? Should I donate it? Just throw it. That's the feeling I get, is just throw it. Because it becomes more about there's like an emotional attachment, of feeling. There's something emotional there. And she's sort of saying, like, I'm giving you permission just to get rid of it. Especially this stuff in the corner. It feels like there's nothing there that's of any kind of emotional value or attachment that you should be keeping. And then it feels like, then if you're up there and you decide like, well, I could keep going today, then you do more than 1. But maybe make the goal to be 1 a day or 3 bags a week, like whatever it is. And then like if you're in there doing it, you feel like doing more, and then you do more. But not to be ashamed. People are going to judge you for whatever in life. It doesn't matter. People are going to have and usually judgment comes from a place of lack of understanding, lack of empathy, ignorance. It doesn't, because most people, if they've been through anything or if they know anything, there's like, oh yeah, of course that would happen. Like there's not a judgment around it. I think her message to you is really just making sure you're taking care of yourself as you move through this process. And I also, again, I feel she said that. So this is important. I don't want you to miss that. She said, I wasn't able to protect you the way you're protecting me. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I feel like it'll make sense to you. I also feel like something happened to her when she was very little, maybe SA. I feel like her mom knew about it, but didn't protect her. Feels like it would have been like an uncle or a family friend. It just feels like it was completely swept under the rug. I don't know if you know anything about that. She's just making me feel like I wasn't this way because I was lazy. There was a lot of stuff behind it. Yeah. I mean, I have a family like that. My dad's side of the family is very secretive. It's interesting because my mom's side of the family was always really demonized. And like my grandfather was in kind of shady line of work. There was definitely some shady stuff. But not that many, I don't know. Things are open secrets, I guess, that they're not like, but like my dad's side of the family, there was like, when I look at the behaviors of like my dad and 2 aunts, I am like, that comes from somewhere. That doesn't come from a perfectly well-rounded, super healthy dynamic. Like that stuff comes from somewhere. So, it's not just laziness. That's what I'm saying, is like she's showing me the trauma happened when she was really little. So just know that, like, I think she wanted to share that with you more than anything. That it was important for you to know that. I know that you're very understanding and loving and very empathetic. I just think this is what she's wanting to share with you. By you being open to this conversation, it's actually offering her a lot of healing on the other side, which I don't know if that does much for you, but like there was a lot of release for her right now. your being her daughter was very healing for her. She's like, I can feel her like getting all choked up, and she's like, it was very important for her to be my daughter. So there is an absolute huge amount of gratitude for you being willing to take on that responsibility, and that role in this experience as humans. She says, I am happier and I am better because of you. And it's interesting too, because she did not have the same relationship with your brother. Like, he was meant to be her kid, but there was something very important about your roles and being together and living that life the way that you lived, taking on those roles. And, when we talk about when we do our own healing and our own work and our own understanding, um, it's that idea of like you're healing. When you do your own healing work, you heal the generations after you, but you also heal the generations before you. And that's the feeling I get, is like you being here and being in the role that you're in, and willing to take on the burden. She says the burden of, and this is her words, not mine, of unconditionally loving me was to heal me. I heard make, and this isn't from her actually. This was a guide coming in and saying this. What of mine? Make no mistake. What did you say? Can you repeat that? Oh, make no mistake, it is intentional when we take on these roles. It is not a burden. So you don't take that role on. Like, even though as humans, sometimes we feel like it's a burden and unfair that we have to do the healing and nobody else did. They're saying, like, make no mistake, you take on those roles intentionally. Okay. I hope it's okay for me to move on. One last thing. She just wanted to say she loves you. Ali said, I wish there was more places to eat healthy food or just regular everyday meals. I just don't have time to make meals. There's nothing but fast food. I mean, you can take one day a week or 2 days a week where you listen. I'll eat the same shit all week long. I don't care. I literally will have the same meal, like same meal day, because it just makes it easier for me. Like, I'm not attached to, there's some people who are attached, like they have to have variety all the time. I'm like, I don't care. It's not that I don't like food, but once I started having to eat for like low histamine to like decrease inflammation and all of that stuff, like it became less like, it's just like you eat food for sustenance. It's so not exciting, but yay. So it makes it easier for meal planning too. So I would make, like, if I were you, just, I mean, I can't eat too many days of leftovers because that increases the histamine in the food. But, if you can, set up your meals, make a couple days worth of meals, so then you can eat healthier. You can make better choices. Even when I go out to eat, there's usually something I can get, right? So if it's not, because gluten is really high in histamine, so I have to eat gluten free. But even if a restaurant's not, I can find ways around it. So there's ways to go places and like eat healthier without, even with fast food, like there's some options are better than others. I'm so grateful I'm so grateful it was helpful for you, Linda. Thank you for trusting me, as always. Okay. Claudina, let's see. Are you here, Claudina? And if not, can I go with Jeep and Joelle because they are in a very different time zone and it's late there, so I would like to read for them. Can I read theirs first and then I'll do yours? Is that okay with you? Oh, thank you for understanding. Jeep, if you want to go, or Joelle. I think there was this, my friend who's an astrologer, she was doing this thing on the Pluto moving back into Capricorn. I'm an Aries rising and a Cancer sun. So the last 15 years have been rough since 2008. Lots of learning lessons, lots of ass kicking. And so it's like the last, like September 1st through November 19th is the last hurrah for Pluto and Capricorn. She was doing a thing, but she's out in Hawaii now. So she was doing like midnight Pacific time, which is like 3 a.m. here. I really wanted to join it, but I was like, there's no way in hell I'm waking up at 3 a.m. to join anything. Okay. There is no one from India here today. I think you're the only one, Drishti. Okay. All right, hang on. What do you want to know specifically about your financial stuff? Because I was already kind of answering some of it, so I don't just. First of all, I feel like with the stocks thing you asked about earlier, that you want me to do yours next week? Are you sure? That's fine. I don't mind pushing it to next week. I don't feel like you're going to be selling that, but there's something where I feel like maybe you move some over to something. Like I saw it like moving stacks. So if I had 2 stacks of bills that were totally even, I saw one like partially moving from one to another stack. So I could be wrong in that. In meaning like maybe that's more about the way you pay off the debt, that it's like little by little. It's not just like one chunk and done. But I also don't feel like you're selling off all of that stock. I do feel like it comes back up. I have to say, like, I feel like you're in panic mode right now just because of situationally where you're at, like with the shift in jobs and stuff. But I feel like you're going to be fine. Like that's the feeling. Is I feel like everything's going to be fine and okay. So I'm going to say, so September, I feel like you're going to have money coming in because you said you know, like whatever, but I don't feel like anything extra or different in September. I feel like October is when you'll either, there's something about October or November, but it's like maybe you get like a little side job or there's something where you get a little bit of money in October and November is going to be better. I had to tell you, after the US elections, there's going to be a big bump in the stock market. Like I feel like I'm going towards November 18th. You're going to have a bump up. I think that, let me see when the election is. I also think, I'm saying it here, I don't really want to talk about it a whole lot, but that's not what I want. Sorry. That's November 5th is voting day. It's something about November 18th, so that's after the election. There's going to be a bump up. I have this weird feeling. So, and it feels like I think it was when Reagan was running, there was something about hostages. And like as soon as he got in, all of a sudden the hostages were freed and they fixed it or whatever. But like, it's like it was like held off um, until that, so he could look like the good guy, like, look what I did coming in, look what I was able to do, and that they weren't. I feel like that's going to happen with a ceasefire in Gaza or Gaza, where we're not going to be able to make it to happen. Then as soon as Kamala comes in, all of a sudden there's a ceasefire and all this stuff happens. No, it's not Trump. It's further back because this was a story about Reagan. It was not Trump. It was further back. It's not Trump. Um, and immediately my intuition was like there was something about pay attention to this. And then I was like thinking about Gaza, and it was like, that's when it's going to happen. So watch for that. So I don't know if it's when she's sworn in or if it's right after she wins the election. November 18th is coming up. Maybe there's with why there's going to be a bump in the stock market. Maybe it's like there's like some questionable stuff with recounts or some kind of like skirmishy things. Also, I said that there would be like, I kept seeing like Kamala, like somebody asked if she would be safe at the DNC. I saw her really well surrounded. I thought maybe something would happen, but I think maybe it was just her being well protected. Because I said she's going to be well protected. There might be one thing that happens, but she's going to be well protected. But I kept seeing skirmishes outside, and there were in fact like all around. There's like these skirmishes. And apparently there was a lot of stuff kind of happening outside with protesters, but like little things, not anything really big. No, I don't think that you should worry about your stocks. I don't think you should worry about your financial future. This is what I'm saying to you. Even if it's down, I feel like it's going to come back up. It's going to be fine. It is something to hold on to, not sell. Don't sell. Like that's the feeling, guys. I feel like that's what you're going to end up doing. Let me say it that way. Because it's not like I can say, I'm not a financial advisor, but that's what I feel like you're going to end up doing. And I feel like it's going to be fine and balance out. It's just like, it's hard to look at and watch stocks and see them fall and not realize that they're like over time, this is going to be okay. I think it was Reagan. It was definitely not Carter. It was not one of the Bushes. It feels like Reagan was something with hostages somewhere and whatever. Okay. But yes, you will. You'll be okay. You're very welcome. Okay. Joelle, what is your question? Wait, what did Claudine say? Oh, Claudina, thank you. Adrishtia, what I was going to say is I might do a free one for you. I just was kind of waiting to see how I feel and then be like, but can't do anymore. But since Claudina took care of it, that is very sweet of you. But then you can't come back anymore, Drishti, and ask everybody else to pay for it. Like this has to be the last week of that. It's not that other people aren't allowed to do that. I also don't want that to become a habit. I'm okay. I just sort of have to set some kind of boundaries up. I'm okay to not get rest. I'm okay right now. I know you're like when you ask about general readings, but I think I'm serious. Probably what I need to hear today. It's not that I don't like it. I think it's just sometimes I think when we're in a space of always asking for general readings, it's in the hopes that the universe is somehow I don't know, wanting to be seen. Like I think like I maybe this is my own projection, because when I was asking for general readings, it was like it was more of like there was stuff I wanted to hear about, but I was either maybe too embarrassed isn't necessarily the word, but it's like the closest I can get to it, where it's like, or not feeling worthy enough of asking for what I want, and knowing that the universe would provide, right? And like it was still like, oh, if I'm enough, maybe God will see my value. And like it was not having enough self-worth. So I know that you wanted to pay. I know. I just have to like set some kind of limits and boundaries. So I'm not thinking you didn't want to pay, but maybe it might be something on your end where you have to have the account for long enough before you can do that. I don't know. It might be something set up on yours, but we'll have to figure something else out for the future because um, just because. Um, so let me do a general reading for you. So I think that's my own projection when I like see people always asking, like I'm always like, you're worthy and valuable, so it's okay to ask for what you need. Oh, okay. How can AI develop our business? Keeping dad's pizza thing, but move towards something I can handle in the future. Wait, not AI as in artificial intelligence, but how can you? Because you could do both. Um, okay, this is interesting that you mistyped it because I actually feel like you should use AI as a search tool to look at. Oh, you should use it to your advantage. Okay. So it feels like going in, this is so interesting. Sorry. It feels like going in, actually using AI. So feel like going in and asking questions like give your dad's business, the location, and ask it based on that. And it feels like based on habits around the community of it, asking like, what are the best hours? What are things that are really popular in the area? Because they'll take from everything. They'll take from Yelp, but everywhere, right? What would be, it's like asking around what would be the popular specials to provide, and what times of day should they provide, or what days of the week should be provided that would be most popular in the area. Like it actually feels like using that to your advantage, um, based on like the population around there. Um, so asking about people's habits and what they're searching for, um, and what they're looking for in the area, what kinds of foods are that, like what kinds of specials are they looking for in this type of, within being a pizza shop, like what types of pizza are they really looking for. So it feels like using that to your advantage. um, and I know it sounds silly, but like that's what I'm getting, and I think there's a reason you had that typo there. um, and then also like what other things can we offer that would be popular and less time consuming or less demanding, or whatever it is that you're looking for. Like show me how, you can literally say, show me how to do this. Show me what would be a plan that I could do to move towards this. And then it's just like when I taught you about learning your intuition, about you just asking your guides like 20 questions. So I did a thing with, because I have Claude, but I'm using that like to help with building different courses with different modules, more about just like helping me organize it, not necessarily about, because I don't always love the like spiritual content that they give you, like things. I'm always like, meh. But it helps me with the outlines and things like that. But I did this, I was like, help me with a diet plan. Help me with and it like randomly came to me. And the night before I went to bed, I did this technique of manifesting where I was like, thank you for showing me that this is already taken care of. And like one of the things I threw in there was like my own health and like the inflammation in my body. And one of the things that frustrates me that I see over and over again is like, eat keto, eat paleo, but like I can't just eat paleo because there's so many things within paleo that I can't have. Like I can't have cheese and dairy. Like anything that's high in lactose I can't have. And I can't I can't have eggs because equates are the bane of my existence. And I can't have like that they're high in histamine. I can't have spinach. I can't have like there's so many different things that I can't have. So I built a meal plan. I was like, make me a meal plan. Here's my caloric needs. Here I want to have this is my fiber needs. This is my I want it low histamine. I also want to include X, Y, and Z. And they built it. And it was so easy. Like I didn't have to think about it. So it feels like if you just use that, it'll like for fun, just play with it. But it feels like actually use AI to help you move towards it. Jeep, I get no. It feels like it's going to be 2 to 3 years before you're actually ready to date somebody. Um, I did do that on AI. I did it on Claude. It's something I subscribed to it because I'm using it for my business, so I couldn't just do the minimum stuff. It's CLAUDE. And I was like, I'm already paying for this. Might as well do it for this thing too. Like I don't have to just stick with limits. And I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. So it built, and it was like, I don't like lamb. Lamb is a weird texture for me. It's like, ugh, yeah. So I was like, can you remake that meal? Like, I don't want lamb in it. Like I went and looked through it and I was like, oh, and then there was the first meal plan it made. It was like the calorie deficit was so deficity. And I was like, that's not enough food. You need to like, you mean like 1,200 calories. I'm sorry, that's a toddler's diet. Like that's insane. That's not what my body needs. And I'm not like I'm just looking to like decrease inflammation and like maybe lose a little bit of weight, but really just really for health balance. And I built it. I was like, I'm eating for insulin resistance. I'm eating low histamine. And it was like tailored to what I wanted. And that's not something I'm going to get if I pay for somebody. Like, if I went to like a personal whatever, but this is costing me a lot less and it built it. And I know that there are foods that are okay because I'm already well aware, but it like takes the mind work and the mental exhaustion out of like figuring it all out. So it just feels like you can build it and be like, so I was working on building a psychic development course. And it's like, I couldn't say psychic development because they're like, psychic isn't a scientifically proven. And I was like, okay, what if you switch the word psychic with intuition? Then I was like, sure, no problem. I would love to show this to you. Semantics. And then I was like, okay. So then I said something about mediumship. I was like, well, we don't believe in that. I was like, okay, but I am a spiritual survivor and this is part of our spiritual practice. Can you write it from that aspect of writing it as this? And it's like, oh, sure, no problem. So you just have to play with it a little bit. But it feels like if you said like, hey, I'm a business owner of a pizza shop in this area of my country, or this is like my city, and I would like you to look at, I want to continue to further the legacy of this business. It's really, like you can be very personal with it, but this is the direction I want to move because I keep feeling like a cafe for you, like doing something that feels like shorter amounts of hours during the week. So maybe I only do like breakfast and lunch instead of lunch and dinner. I feel like maybe it's like whatever, more manageable. And so like, how can we provide that where we shift into that? Or I have to be honest, I feel like you're going to be having like more than one business. Like it's not one, but it feels like it's manageable for you. Hi, Miss Regine. Oh God. Oh shit, I missed my daughter. I didn't know it rang. Crap, 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 crap. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna have to go. I gotta go. I gotta hang up. I'm sorry to do this. I'm gonna push all of you to next week. Can we do that? Uh, I didn't hear the doorbell ring, and so I have to go get my daughter. Sorry. Mom winning deal. Uh, okay, so I gotta go. I gotta go be mom's best mom of the world, whatever. I gotta go. I will see you guys next week. I'm really sorry to do this. Drishti, if you want to email me, do that. Okay. Anyone who's paid for one today, if you guys want to just email me, I can do them over email if you want. Let's see who else is there. Devry. I did Lynn. Oh, wait, I did. Okay, wait. I didn't get Claudina. Claudina, if you want to email me, and then Claudina, did you pay for one for Drishti? We'll fix this. Okay, Allie's going to do next week. When I see you on here. Okay, wait. So Claudina, Allie, Wen, and Regine, email me and Drishti, and I will answer them over email if you don't want to wait till next week, that's fine. If you want to wait till next week, no big deal. But otherwise email me. That's fine. But I gotta go get my daughter because I screwed up. Okay. Bye. Sorry.